Hi, I'm Morry and I'm the creator of the Quantum Confidence System. I'm here today to answer a few questions from our recent teleconference, in the hope that by answering these questions, you as the listener might get a better idea of what the Quantum Confidence System is. I'll do my best to address some of the concerns and questions that some of you might have as well. All right then, let's begin. The first question that we will deal with today has to do with: will the quantum confidence system help people in general with issues such as things like attention deficit disorder, focusing issues? Can it actually help people who might be alcoholic or otherwise addicted? To answer that question, I have to first state that I am not a doctor. As such, it's important to remember that I can't really make claims of a medical nature. That being said, it's important to remember that the quantum confidence system has a full money-back guarantee, so if you find that the system isn't helping you within a reasonable time frame, it's a simple matter of returning it for a refund. We do have a 20-minute sample recording that, if used regularly over a short period, should be able to show you whether or not this technology might prove useful for you, for any number of conditions and mind states. Whereas this particular product is generated to specifically deal with confidence and self-esteem issues, it's important to remember also that brainwave entrainment inherently can help people to deal with many different things, as long as it's been engineered in a responsible, scientific, and considered way. I understand that this answer actually skirts the question itself, but I count on you listeners to realize that ultimately it is your experience and your personal results that will be the final proof, if you will, of the system's efficiency and value. The next question asks if the results of using quantum confidence are temporary or permanent. Using the quantum confidence system is very similar to using an exercise regime or even a proper diet that includes a change in eating habits. You see, what happens is, if you exercise for a long time and notice your body getting into really good shape, and if you diet for a time and notice your weight dropping to a desired level, and then you turn around and stop exercising and go back to eating in the same way as before, you will tend to notice the same conditions that pre-existed returning. Thus, you will tend to gain weight, and your muscles will tend to lose their shape and conditioning. This system must be considered much in the same way. It is important, once you get to the point where you want to be, that you keep up a maintenance routine, a routine designed to maintain your results. Without it, you definitely run the risk of returning to the state that you were in previous to your use of the quantum confidence system. Now, that doesn't mean that you will definitely fall back. It also doesn't mean that you have to continue to use the system every day. All it means is that you need to use it regularly, whether it's once or twice a week, in order to allow your mind-body system to maintain any beneficial results, just like exercise and just like changing your eating habits. Ultimately, the results can be permanent if you are willing to continue to use the system on at least a semi-regular basis. Conversely, they may prove temporary if you only use the system a little and then stop. With respect to the new quantum triliminals, we were asked an interesting question regarding the affirmations used. In our manual, all affirmations are listed so that you may look at them and know exactly what is being directed towards your subconscious mind. The affirmations are designed for each hemisphere of the brain, as well as to be accepted by your mind, so that any real change that may occur, will happen in the most efficient and effective way possible. These affirmations do not include things like, "I will win the lottery tomorrow." They do not include, "I will gain superpowers and be able to leap tall buildings in a single bound." The affirmations are tried and true, and again they are designed for ease of acceptance and effectiveness. We had a number of people ask us a rather serious question as to the possible ill effects of using brainwave entrainment over the long term. Some people asked, what happens if you continue to use entrainment and then suddenly stop? Can these recordings prove to be harmful to the brain? Will it change who you are as a person? Is the use of entrainment addictive? Will you get to the point where you need to listen to these recordings in order to literally survive? Well, the first thing we need to point out is that there is absolutely no danger in using brainwave entrainment, meditation, or affirmations when they are used in an appropriate and responsible way. What this means is, don't use these recordings when you're driving. Don't use these recordings when you're operating potentially dangerous machinery or tools. I wouldn't suggest listening to these recordings when you're carving the Thanksgiving Day turkey. As long as you are responsible, then there really is no danger at all. It's important to note at this point that once the brain has produced enough neurochemicals that it simply will not produce any more. When we take a chemical or pill to affect our chemical levels in the brain, what is actually happening is a protein is being placed at the receptor site. At this point, the protein is actually holding the receptor open. This can account for overproduction and overrelease of different neurochemicals into the system. Entrainment does not do this. If you listen more than maybe you should, you are simply taking up time. The brain itself will not overproduce neurochemicals simply as a result of listening. If you use entrainment for a period of time and then suddenly stop, the effects are likely to slowly wear off, and you are likely to return to the state that you may have been in previous to your use. There are no withdrawal symptoms. There can be no harm to the brain. After all, these are simply sounds. If you have any specific conditions with your brain, then it might be a good idea to speak with your healthcare provider before using these recordings. But under normal circumstances, there is no reason for concern, and once again, we simply suggest seeing and asking the opinion of a health professional in order to play it safe. After all, when was the last time you heard a healthcare professional tell you that it was unhealthy to meditate? Entrainment is not addictive, and I've never heard of anyone being in a position where they can't go without it and are thus addicted. The question of it changing who you are as a person is an interesting one. I do not believe that it changes you as a person so much as it allows the person who you truly are to come through and show itself, and thus be expressed. For those of you out there who have never used this system or brainwave entrainment before, there is something that you should be aware of. Properly engineered brainwave entrainment has been shown to allow for the release of deep and buried trauma. People who have repressed painful or embarrassing events in their life may find that these come to the surface. It is important for these events to come to the surface and be dealt with in order for you to move on and have a healthy and productive life. As such, I suggest that you have someone handy, whether it be a professional or trusted friend or family member, who you can discuss these things with if and when they present themselves. In many cases, repressed emotions and events clear themselves easily, but occasionally they may be difficult, and that is why it's important to have a trusted person to speak with in order to help you to deal with it. When many people are listening to TMM recording systems, they find that random thoughts seem to pop out of nowhere, and they wonder if they should be forcing these thoughts to stop or whether they should just let them flow. I believe that the best thing to do is to let them flow. You see, the systems are specifically designed to give you what you need when you need it. And if something is popping to the surface, I suspect there's a good reason for that. So don't fight your thoughts. Don't resist them. Simply let them be, and I believe that this will allow you to get the best possible results. It's true that when you resist something, you are causing a state of stress, and these systems are about natural states of relaxation, peace, and bliss.